Hello, everyone. I think the adventure is all about calling your own bluff. Do you do you have the courage to call your own bluff, to do what you really want to do and thrive? Stop trying to survive and thrive. That's what I've been asking myself. And even though many of you know me as this, crazy musician friend of yours who went off on a great adventure, sold all his stuff, and went off riding his bike around the place. Um, I'm very curious about you. Where are you on the journey? Because it doesn't matter. It never ends. We uh, we all move ahead, learn more constantly. It's not going to stop. That's just life. So I'm curious about you. Where are you on your journey? Oh, I got something there. Whew, that's better. Where are you guys? How um, how far have you come? What steps are you taking? How fearless are you? Are you doing what you really want to do more than anything else? I just tweeted something that said, happiness is releasing the need to justify myself. And I'm noticing my progress. I fear that I have to make a certain amount of progress or I won't survive. And I'm letting go of that. I'm watching myself make decisions without any judgment, without any justification after the fact, without any second guessing. Just, you know, being myself and giving the world the gifts I have for it and letting that be enough. I'm daring myself to step forward and more, just give the world the gifts I have to give it and let that be enough. See what happens if I really go all in. I went all in on this lifestyle. I didn't put my stuff in storage. I sold it. I poured all of my resources into this trip, into this lifestyle, into traveling and being free in a certain way. So what about you? What are you doing to be free? What are you doing to step forward? What are you doing to offer the world your gift? Because for me, that's the biggest dream, is to be supported by the world, to be able to stay here, eat, have shelter, have water, have friends, have all the things I need, and have that be not in exchange for my labors or my suffering, but for labors of love, but for me offering the best of myself. And that takes a lot of courage, and I'm only partway down. That's why I'm asking about you guys. How far down that path have you come? How much of yourself do you offer to the world? How much of yourself have you been able to translate or give to the world in a way it understands? You know? Sometimes tiny tweaks in our models, in our business models, our ways of being, our social engagements, just tiny little tweaks can make a huge difference. Now, sometimes persistence can make a difference too. I've been blessed with good weather and been able to stay here in Athens in a place where I've been left alone in the woods and very close to lots of wonderful people. And, persistence, just being in the same place for a while. Persistence doesn't mean working hard and wearing yourself down and overwhelming yourself and burning yourself out. That's what people who want you to work for them say. But persistence really means just getting up and being yourself every day and not stopping. So many of these words are still full of negatives, still full of the old wage slave work ethic that we were raised with, at least for me. But what about you? What are the words you're reframing today? What are the realizations you're having? Share them with us. Get on the Facebook group. Share beneath these YouTube videos. Find a way to share with the other people who enjoy this video content. Find a way to give us your gift, your technique that's helping you today, the thought that's making you feel better, the little tip or trick you learned about getting along in the world. Tiny little things. The little social cue or social habit that makes you feel more like an equal with people. I was talking with a friend yesterday, and we were saying that, we were talking about the little things, these tiny little things that make the life better, make life easier to live. The tiny little things, practical things that work for us. And I was giving her some examples. I told her about when people nod at each other. Sometimes when you nod at someone, you might have a feeling of being less than them, or being a follower, or being a little bit submissive nodding to them. If you feel that way, I certainly did at one point. Do the up nod. Like, hey, what's up? I see you there, and I'm awesome. Not, oh, I see you there, and I'm not as good as you. you know? That kind of a nod, if you can make it a habit, is one little practical thing you can do. I found it took me, I don't know, a dozen, maybe more opportunities, because the opportunity to nod with someone doesn't come every day, but, over a month or so, I don't know how long it took, I was able to have enough opportunities to practice nodding at people automatically this way. I don't automatically nod when they nod. I don't automatically mirror them. I nod in a way that makes me feel better, not in the same way they did. Of course, if somebody nods at me upwise, I'll nod at them back, but it just feels better to do that for some reason. It's a tiny thing, but it releases one little thread of the million threads, I guess, that the Lilliputians are using to tie us down. And just releasing that one thread, like, oh, nope, I've got a better habit than that. Those things matter. They can be social things like that, but they can also be internal things. I've done much better at noticing my thoughts and not judging them. I'll probably be more willing and able to notice thoughts when there isn't a negative attached. I think we try not to be aware as one way of avoiding that pain. It was funny, I was just ducking into my tent to get something I was packing up for the day. And I felt that urge that I usually feel, like I have to hurry up. I've been laying around the campsite most of the day. I've been having a really relaxed day. It's not like now that I've decided to go out into town and do something that like time really matters, because if time mattered, I would have spent less time, enjoying myself. Checking out wonderful things on social media and listening to people, connecting, learning, being inspired. I would have taken some of that time, if it really mattered, and put it into something else. I would have done that. But for some reason, in the moment that I decide, okay, now it's time to get ready to leave, now it's a big deal. It's stuff we learned as kids. Our parents are impatient with us, especially when they want us to do things, oh my gosh, especially when they want us to do things that we don't necessarily want to do. They encourage us to hurry up, and we take our time because we're not interested. in whatever activity they're trying to get us to get into. So, those dramas, maybe they're psychodramas, I'm not sure about the definition of that word. If anybody wants to chip in on that, please do. But these dramas that we have, that we replay in our heads, I think that's what psychodramas means. I've heard that word used in different contexts, but I'm not sure the people who used it knew what it meant. But suffice to say, I will join them and throw it out there. But yeah, these psychodramas that we play out in our heads of, oh, I have to hurry up. Now that I've decided to take action, now that I've decided to go somewhere, or leave the house, whatever. It's a pattern from my childhood. Wait till the last minute and then, finally jump out of bed at the last hit of the snooze alarm and rush out into the world because it's not what I really wanted to do. It's just something that I'm forced to do. The trick is I'm not forced to do it anymore. I can lay here all day if I want, go back to bed, play with my phone, do whatever I want. That's not how the world works anymore. But when I was young, there was this boundary between my own time and time that belonged to someone else. I had time laying there in the bed, drowsy, half asleep, enjoying myself, that at some point or another was no longer going to belong to me. I was going to be forced to go out in the world and do what other people wanted me to do. And so I kept as much of my personal time as I could, to the last possible minute, to where if I didn't start doing what other people wanted, I was going to, be hurt. I was going to have, negative consequences, punishments, reactions, rejections that I didn't want to feel. I was trained, basically, to feel this way. And so now I'm weeding out these things piece by tiny piece. Like I said, social ones, but also ones in my head. I'll have a thought like, oh, I'm going to use the restroom in town, not the restroom here. Okay. And let that just be what it is. Not make any judgments about that decision. It was a silly little decision. I can use the restroom here. I can use the restroom in town. But I've just learned to attach negatives and judgments to decisions. Also to thoughts and desires, of course. We've been told that certain desires are bad and we should feel bad for even having them. I think that's the word for that is concupiscence. The idea of even wanting to do something without taking action being a sin. But anyway, yeah. Desires, surely, we've been taught to feel bad about them, or at least to hide them. And, I just think it's funny. I think that we have these tiny little petty things in our heads where we judge ourselves based on our training, on our upbringing or lack of it. And the funniest thing is that we're not aware of them. I will catch, every day, every other day, I'll catch one of these, maybe sometimes more of them, and I'll notice these little things like, oh, I was feeling bad about something that I don't have to feel bad about, so I'm going to feel good now. And the next time I have this trigger, have that thought, have a type of thought like that, I'm just going to ignore it because I don't need to attach any attention to it. Every time I make a decision, I don't have to justify it. I don't have to, think about it. I don't have to puzzle over it. I can just make my decision and move on. And we all have different hang-ups, Obviously, I was taught to question everything that I did because it might be wrong in someone else's eyes. I'm sure many of you have that trait. I'm sure many of you have other ones, different hang-ups. But the concept is the same. Whether you resonate with my example or not, you have things in your mind that you don't need to think about. You have thoughts in your head that are just fine right the way they are. You don't have to send a second thought along like, oh crap, maybe it was wrong of me to do what I want. Maybe it was wrong of me to make this decision the way I wanted to. Maybe someone's going to have a problem with it, or maybe, this is going to be a mistake. There are no mistakes. We just do what we want to do all the time. For example, here's my life plan. I'm going to be happy, and then I'm going to die. That's my life. For the rest of my life, I'm going to be happy, and then it's going to end. That is it. We do what we want to do in the moment all the time. We follow our own intuition, our own love. I love to talk to people, so I'm going to go into town and talk to people today. I love to eat lots of good, healthy foods. I'm going to go do that today. We all do the things that we want to do. We do the things we love all the time. We act the way we please. That is simply it. We're not controlled. Control doesn't exist. We're such a violent culture. We watch a lot of violent content, myself included. I still like that kind of thing. But we consume a lot of violence through our media. And we look at the courage of the people who fight. We look at the courage of the people who die for their country or an ideal or all that kind of stuff. But do you have the country? Do you have the courage? Not country. Do you have the courage to die for your ideals? No. You don't want to die. You want to survive. You'll compromise your ideals. And so do I. We all do to some extent. And I'm not asking you to make a dramatic change, to put yourself at risk for your ideals all at once. Just take a step. Just take a small step every day, or just whenever you feel it. Maybe many times a day, maybe a few times a week, I don't know. But take a small step towards who you really want to be all the time. There's, of course, the risk that if we live our best and greatest selves, if we are completely who we want to be, that other people won't like it, and other people won't support us, or other people won't appreciate us, won't give us their love and their money. They won't, feed us. Will you still lead me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64, right? That's the idea. I love yawning. It's a great way, as I've spoken of in previous videos, to release my fears and release sadness and make space for happiness that is my natural state. So that's it. Face your fear, the basic fear that we have to be someone other than who we are, that we have to adopt a persona, as Freud would say, a mask. The idea that we would have to be someone we're not. I don't know if that's Freud. Now that I think about it, it might be Jung, who was really into the personas and the masks, though I think the two of them may both have overlapped on that issue. I don't know. Anybody who's an expert, chip in the comments. But the idea is this. We wear a mask because we feel that if we don't, we won't survive. We feel that people won't give us their love, and love, as the pack animals we are, translates into protection. It translates into money. It translates into food, shelter, mates, all of it. All the things at the bottom of that pyramid of needs. So, take that risk, take that gamble, because nothing else feels as good, and see if you can offer your gift, the best of yourself. See if you can offer a little more of that and a little less of your persona, a little less of the person you feel you have to be. I loved all my piano students, and if any of you are watching, please don't take this the wrong way, but I did feel that I needed to be a different person when I was teaching piano, and that is why I stopped. I felt that I had to be a character that I invented named Mr. Joe. I called myself that because a lot of the young students weren't comfortable calling me by my first name, and I didn't want them to call me Mr. Neely, which I wasn't comfortable with. So Mr. Joe became a bit of a compromise, and I encouraged kids just to call me my first name, because I don't believe that there should be any artificial separation between generations, or just any kind of artificial authority. Like in the military, you have to call people sir if they're a rank above you. That hierarchy, it's unnecessary. We don't need to participate in it. If you're forced to participate in it, it's one thing, but if you're not forced to, why do it? It's artificial. People respect each other for lots of reasons. We respect and love the innate part of that other person, which is just the same as what's inside us. And then we also respect their skills and attributes and courage and all the different things that are unique to them. That's real respect. So don't fake it. Don't volunteer to wear a persona of a submissive follower unless you're forced to. Why? Why diminish yourself for someone else's benefit? It's because we do that because we believe we will benefit from it, that we don't have any other choice, that the choice is either submission or something worse. And that's not true. That's not how the world works. It's a ruse. So, in this small way today, take some action to go out there and give the world your best. Give the world who you really are, not who you want to be for other people, but who you want to be for yourself. Have that courage. Have that ability to, call your own bluff, as I said at the beginning of the video. Have that ability to really give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Really believe in yourself. Say, I can be myself. I can do exactly what I want to do in this life and be rewarded for it and be accepted for it. I can offer my best. I don't have to slave away doing something I don't enjoy or something I'm not that good at just because it's the only way to get by, make money, make friends, fit in. You can fit in just being the exact person you are. And thank you for listening to my video. This one's a little shorter than usual, which I think is good. I'm trying to keep them sharp and short and targeted at you guys, the listener. Though I do love to talk about myself, and that's not going to change. I still really want to keep this as genuine as possible, though reaching out to you. And I know I can do both. Connect with me and each other via the website, joeneely.net, and go to, the community tab at the top of the page. That's what it is. And on that community page, you can find all kinds of good stuff. Different ways that you can find me on the interwebs, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the other social media places, and some special one-on-one ways we can connect, as well as how you can connect with each other via social media. So, that's the spiel. Have a great day. I love you all. Bye-bye.